What's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here of Marty Music. Thanks for the continued support. I asked you guys what your favorite guitar scenes are in movies, and I whittled it down to your top 5, so let's get to the countdown. Number 5, Mad Max Fury Road. What's better than an action movie set in a post-apocalyptic future with monster trucks and weirdos fighting it out in desert lightning storms and arrows that explode? Well, a flamethrower guitar, of course. We've got the heavy metal guitar player of the ages. So in the future, after nuclear war and the world has ended, you still got heavy metal, but even better with flames coming out of the headstock of the guitar. I know so many guitar players that want a guitar like that now, and I also don't think I've seen a more epic guitar scene in a movie in at least the last decade. Number 4, Wayne's World, Stairway Denied. So I love Wayne's World, and if you're a fan of rock and roll and comedy, it's really one of the greats. I highly recommend it. And in this classic scene, Wayne Campbell, played by Mike Myers, is finally able to purchase the guitar of his dreams, the tasty white Stratocaster, just like Jimi Hendrix played. He goes into the music store, he wants to test it out, and he starts playing the first few notes of Stairway to Heaven, and the guitar store employee immediately shuts him down and points to the sign, which gives birth to this classic pop culture joke now, which is Stairway Denied. Number 3, Back to the Future, when Marty McFly basically invents rock and roll. So, my name's Marty and I play guitar. I wasn't named after the movie, but having the name Marty and being a guitar player has always served me well. I'm glad to kind of accidentally have a little connection to the theme of that movie. So in this classic iconic scene, Marty McFly finds himself in some hijinks. He needs to fill in for a band so they can play, so his parents can fall in love and he can still exist. It's a little heady if you think about it too long, but he starts to play Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry. Just so happens the band leader that he's filling in for is Chuck Berry's cousin. And of course, the famous scene where he calls his cousin and says, "This is your cousin, Marvin Berry. You know that new sound you're looking for? Where do you get a load of this?" And accidentally creates rock and roll. Now, this is one of my favorite guitar scenes in any movie, and I also can think of many guitar players who have stated this movie as the reason that they wanted to play guitar in the first place, which makes it iconic and just an all-around great, fun movie. Number 2, Crossroads, the final duel between Ralph Macchio and Steve Vai. Now, this is a classic guitar lovers movie. I've heard from countless guitar players who were inspired by this movie to pick up the guitar in the first place, including Alice Cooper's Nita Strauss. Now, this classic scene is the duel to end all duels, winner takes all, including your soul, and we've got real amazing guitar players involved in this movie. We've got Ry Cooder covering all the blues and slide parts that Macchio is supposed to be playing, and Steve Vai doing all of his own guitar stunting, including the classical piece of music that Ralph Macchio actually wins the duel with was done by Steve Vai. And we got to give shout outs to Ralph Macchio for learning guitar and playing guitar in this movie, and then also being able to imitate and pantomime that final duel so well. So kudos to the Karate Kid. And that brings us to number 1, which is the film This Is Spinal Tap, and the scene where lead guitar player Nigel Tufnell shows off his guitar collection, including an amp that goes one higher than any other amp. It goes to 11. Thus the phrase, "This goes to 11" was born, and just about every guitar player I know uses that phrase, not just for music, but for other things. Take it to 11, this one goes to 11, we can take it to 11. How do we take it to 11? Honorable mention in this film as well is when lead guitar player Nigel Tufnell is talking about how he, seriously, how he expresses himself in his solos, and then they cut to a guitar solo, and they make fun of Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, who would play guitar with a violin bow. What do? They make it more ridiculous, and Nigel actually plays guitar with a violin itself, and then you've got the punchline of the whole joke, which is where he's playing it with the violin, and then takes a moment to tune the violin a little bit. And one of the funniest rock and roll movies ever of all time was born. Well, that's the countdown. It was a lot of fun. I'm a movie buff myself. And please check out these movies if you haven't. If you agree or disagree or you think I left one out, leave it in the comments below. I'd also like to hear from you on other countdown lists or just interesting little stories that you'd like me to cover. I really appreciate it. Thanks again for hanging out with me at Marty Music. Got a lot more videos on the way, and we'll see you real soon.